You just never know. And so that's why this baseball network is so much fun. But we got to put everything in perspective, right? I mean, we have a great time with it, share ideas. But what happened to Skaggs, unfortunately, could happen to any of us without any notice. So thoughts and prayers for the family as we go forward. Looking at the batters for the Cubs other than Hayward, not a lot of sample size. Javi Baez has not fared well career-wise against Joe Musgrove. 1 for 12 in his career off of the Pittsburgh starter. Next game I'll look at, the Red Sox are at Rogers Center tonight in Toronto, Ontario. David Price, 5-2 with a 3.36 ERA going against Thornton. The Tar Heel product, yes, UNC alum, 2-5 with a 4.60 ERA for the Blue Jays against David Price. I love Lourdes Gurriel any game he plays. Stat-wise, career-wise, not that much sample, 2 for 6, but just the fact that he's on fire the last month, you got to have it. For the Red Sox against Trent Thornton, again, very limited samples here. J.D. Martinez is 2 for 3. Michael Chavez, 2 for 3. I don't put much stock in that, but I do like Martinez. It seems like I've been watching him lately, swinging the bat much better. And them coming back from England, 2 straight losses to the Yankees, they're going to be hungry. They're going to be ready to win, and David Price is probably exactly what the doctor ordered. The next 2 days, the Red Sox will throw Price today and Sale tomorrow, so look for them to bounce back, if you will, in those games at Rogers Center. The Brewers, again, playing at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Chase Anderson, 4-2, with a 4.42 ERA, taking on Tanner Roark, who is 5-6, with a 3.36 ERA. Pretty good numbers for Roark, considering his ERA and his record don't really match up. But look at the numbers here. Peraza, 4 for 12 off of Anderson if he starts. Joey Votto, 5 for 18. That's a 278 average off of Anderson. 2 players you want to look at there. And, of course, I mentioned Suarez. He's had multiple hits in 3 straight games. He's turning it on. And I like Suarez today in that ballpark against Anderson. Of course, Scooter Gennett coming off the IL. I think he's getting some timing back. I watched him a little bit last night. So he's a lefty against a right-handed pitcher against a former team. I like those kind of matchups, don't you? And for the Brewers against Tanner Roark, Christian Yelich, 12 for 45 in his career. That's a 267 average. Ryan Braun, 5 for 21. Lorenzo Cain, 2 for 13. So the Brewers as a whole, their career stats against Tanner Roark in 129 at-bats. They're hitting 217 off of him. So probably, I don't know if we'll have an 8-6 game today or not. Of course, you could have it with those 2 teams, 10-9, who knows. But the pitching matchups look pretty good, and so they may not reach those runs scored last night today. Orioles are in Tropicana Field tonight at 7:10. Wojciechowski against Charlie Morton. Don't have any stats there to give you that are significant for fantasy purposes. The Phillies are at SunTrust Park in Atlanta tonight. Aaron Nola pitching for the visiting Phillies. Aaron Nola off a great start his last outing against Dallas Keuchel, who has not pitched well so far for the Braves. Batting-wise against Nola, Josh Donaldson is 6 for 11 in his career with 2 home runs. That's a 5.45 average in 12 at-bats against Nola. Acuna is hitting 4.44, 3 walks, 4 hits. I like those numbers as well. So Josh Donaldson, those numbers are quite impressive. I think if I'm playing daily, I like Donaldson at third base today if he's certainly someone you can get. For the Phillies against Dallas Keuchel, career-wise, Gene Segura, 9 for 31 with 2 home runs. That's a 290 average. Segura would be probably a great add. And also Real Muto. Look and see if he is available in your leagues, as well as Kingery. I like those right-handed bats. Kingery at the top of the order. Real Muto and Hoskins certainly in the middle of that order against Keuchel. He has just not looked that great so far in the first 2 starts this year for him. The Angels, they are in Globe Life Park in Arlington tonight. Suarez pitching for the Angels. Minor pitching for the Rangers. Statistics-wise, LaCroix is 5 for 16 off of Mike Minor. That's a .312 average. Mike Trout, always a player, got to have. David Fletcher, since coming off that shoulder surgery, he's hitting around 200, or shoulder injury. And so Fletcher is struggling. I don't like Fletcher if he's even starting today. In fact, keep your eye on Fletcher going forward. Another player off the IL who I think will heat up, Andrelton Simmons. He's played in a handful of games since coming off the IL. I like him in that ballpark in Texas for fantasy purposes if you can add him today. Detroit is at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. We mentioned him earlier, Matt Boyd, pitching today for the Tigers against the Lopez and the White Sox. Matt Boyd is 5-3 with a 3.72 ERA. Lopez is 4-7 with a 6.12 ERA. Look for a lot of runs to be scored in this game. I'm feeling it. For the White Sox against Matt Boyd, you got to have Jose Abreu in your daily today. I'm telling you, he's my pick of the day. He's been my pick of the day several times. There's something about the pitchers in that division that aren't too good. Abreu is 12 for 24 with a couple of homers, 4 RBIs. That's a .500 average, a 1.292 OPS against Matt Boyd. Got to have him today. Add him in your daily fantasy lineup. All right, the Indians are at Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium. Here you go, Andrea. Trevor Bauer pitching tonight for the Cleveland Indians. Yes, he is, 6-6 with a 3.55 ERA, taking on Jacob Junis. Wow, gotta love that. Anytime Bauer's pitching, and against Kansas City, the lineup, the players on the current roster, career-wise, in 95 at-bats, they are hitting only 189 off of Trevor Bauer. I'm looking for a great outing for Trevor Bauer today. Alex Gordon is 4 for 25. That's a 160 average. It's bad. The only decent average against Trevor Bauer on Kansas City is Whit Merrifield. No shock there, but he's only 6 for 23. That's a 261 average. Certainly below what we normally see from Whit Merrifield. For the Indians against Jacob Junis, here's you got to add. How about Francisco Lindor, who is 10 for 19 off of Jacob Junis' career, a 5.26 average, 3 home runs. If you've got Lindor or you can get him, you got to play him today. Okay, along with Abreu, Lindor and Abreu are must-owns in fantasy today. Carlos Santana is 5 for 10 off of Junis. Jose Ramirez hitting 278 off of him. These are all options. I'm not so sure of Ramirez, but I am sure of Santana and Frankie Lindor. How about that? So let's move along. The Twins are at Oakland Coliseum. I've got no stats for you, but I do have the pitchers. Jake Odorizzi, 10-3. Great year, 2.73 ERA against Migden for Oakland, 2-1 with a 4.03 ERA. The Cardinals are at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. No stats here, but the pitchers are Jack Flaherty for St. Louis, 4-5. Really a disappointment, a 4.75 ERA. Not been at all in fantasy or reality what we thought he would be. For the Mariners, Caracidi pitching, a rookie, no record. Final 2 games tonight are on the West Coast in California. You've got the Diamondbacks at the Dodgers. Clark against Stripling. And I've got a few numbers there actually for Arizona Diamondback batters. Clark is 2-3 with a 6.10 ERA. He's a right-handed pitcher, so if I'm at looking Dodgers, I'm always looking Bellinger. Jock Peterson is certainly an add for today if he's available at the top of that lineup. And, you know, Jock Peterson's been playing some first base lately, so let's keep our eye on those 2 bats. For the Diamondbacks against Ross Stripling, who's 3-2, just recently put in the rotation. Only pitched 3 innings in his first outing. I think they'll stretch him out some more tonight. Probably look for him to go at least 5 innings tonight. But there's been some Diamondbacks bats that have been very successful off of him. Nick Ahmed, 5 for 10 in his career with a home run. David Peralta, 8 for 20 with 5 doubles. That's a 400 average. And, of course, we talked about him earlier. You got to go with Ketel Marte. In 2019, you have no choice, right? You got to go with him tonight if you have him available in fantasy. Finally, tonight, One last game to talk about is the Giants, hot off those 13 runs last night against the Padres. Beatty pitching for the Giants in Petco Park in San Diego against Max Strom. Good opportunity for some bats here. I've got no bats with 10 or more, but of course against Beatty for the Padres, Hosmer, Tatis. Check and see if Naylor's in the lineup and the ever-hot Manny Machado. And then for the Giants against the Padres, Matt Strom. Right-handed bats. Strom has not pitched well lately. And if you can add some right-handed bats against Strom, I would do it. Okay, what a show. Woo! I haven't gone an hour and 10 minutes in a long time. And tell you what, when you do it, when you go as long as I've gone this morning, it makes you appreciate these 3-hour shows that you hear sometimes. Of course, we don't have any commercials, so I guess I could have made this hour and 10 a 2-hour show. Let's look at our schedule of later today for Lenny Melnick Fantasy Sports Network. How about that? Of course, it's Tuesday. That means at noon today, it's Trophy Town Tuesday with Cam. Cam, are you ready? I'm ready for you, buddy. Here's your promo. 12 o'clock, tune in. It's already almost 11, so go get you some quick lunch. Come back, listen to Cam at noon. JJ Sports Talk at 2 today. There's no gangsters today, it's my understanding. If that's not right, let me know. Tonight, I tell you what, it's my birthday. I don't know if I'll be with you tonight or not. It depends what my family has planned for me. But the way it's scheduled right now, I'll be here at 6. I'll probably have something for you, even if it's really short. How about that? Chappie, gotta listen to Chappie. He will have more information than I could ever give you. At 7 o'clock, and then at 9, Phil and I, and at 10 o'clock tonight, Easy Round the Table. What a schedule. Support your podcasters. I want to thank you guys for being in the chat room. Lou, Andrea, Beerman was with me, Bradley, Cam, Jack, Lenny, Unholy. And then we had some guests. Guest Henrietta, who, I mean, come on, guys, please register. Please register. And guest Jeff. I don't know who they are, but I'm glad you were with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Go watch some baseball. No afternoon games. All games are tonight. Wish me a happy birthday. Yeah, my 54th. That's how old I am. I know I sound 32, but I'm actually 54 today. Glad to be with you. It's always a pleasure to bring you the best in fantasy sports from Arnie's Fantasy Sports. Have a great day, everybody.